What's good, y'all? My name is Darcy. This is another episode of Off the Dome, where we teach about and talk about love, happiness, how to be happy, how to heal. In today's episode, we're going to get into survival mode. Let's jump straight to it. A lot of people don't realize they're in survival mode. A lot of people live on auto, auto mode, you know, life keeps them busy. They don't have time to look at their surroundings, working every day, kids. That builds up stress. And we're never really focused on giving ourselves love to the body. And so we kind of get into this survival mode. And it's not our fault. A lot of times we're never taught these simple things. But when we're in survival mode, our body is in fight or flight. I know you hear this term a lot. It's very common, but it's true. We we struggle to not react. We're always reacting to things. Our body is always prepared for things. And maybe that's because of our past. Maybe it's because of our childhood. We all have some type of trauma, and it's important to know that trauma isn't your fault. You didn't create this trauma. It just happened to you. It was your outside, and your body did the best it could at that time. And it's important to realize, you know, that trauma is stored in our body. And if we're not looking at it, if we're not trying to change it, it's going to grow and it's going to get comfortable. And this is the problem with the fight or flight. We're prepared for something and we don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. But in our past, we've always been through some type of trauma that's affected us and that's caused us to be in fight or flight mode. And our body is, it feels tight. You get that feeling in your heart, the stomach, you start breathing a lot. And that happens to all of us. We all go through some things that are tough. But I was saying that it grows in our body because we're not aware of it. And our body likes to be comfortable. So if you grew up with all this trauma, if you grew up living in fear, that's going to grow times 10, times 100, times 1,000 in your body. And we need to change this. We shouldn't be afraid of life. We shouldn't have fear. We shouldn't live in fear. Why are you afraid? Why can't you be positive? Why can't we think about how many possibilities there are if we change our mind from fear to love? I'm not afraid of the world. If you're afraid of the world, you're going to attract that energy. You're going to be put in the timeline where other people are also afraid, where other people also feel this type of fear in their stomach, in their heart. And it's important to realize there are many ways to live life. There's many different timelines. Energy never dies. It's transforming. Sometimes it can transform into fear. Sometimes it can transform into love. Depends what we put our attention on. And it's important to realize that there are many timelines out there for you that you didn't even know existed. And the first thing we have to do is get out of the fight or flight. We have to stop surviving. There's no need to survive. We are on this life to experience love, to give happiness, to give peace to ourselves, peace of mind. And there are a few steps to do this. Obviously, people always talk about breath work, but breath work is always important because it keeps us present, it keeps us in the now. A lot of times fear based is things that aren't happening. Maybe they're happening in your head. Maybe you're going through, I don't know, hallucinations. You're imagining the future is going to be a certain way. But in reality, a lot of times we're worried about the past. Our mind thinks the past is going to repeat itself, or we're worried about the future, or maybe the future is going to destroy us again, give us some fear again. But the truth is, we don't know. We can't react. We have to start creating love, creating our emotions, creating our thoughts. We have a million thoughts in our head. They come to us, right? How are we going to react to them? Are you going to let it sit there and grow in your heart and think about it, ruminate on it 1,000 times? Oh my God. I always think back to, embarrassing moments in high school or college, and I'm like, man, what was I doing? Like, what was I doing? But no one is thinking about that. No one else remembers that, bro. They're on their own life, their own journey. They're not worried about you in 2020, 2000, like 2025, bro. And so when we understand we have the ability to create our thoughts, to be thoughts, we are energy. And when we're creating, we're not reacting. And so a lot of times we're always consuming media, consuming things that have our attention, and we never focus on the inside. And so breathing is always helpful because you have to just practice where you're at. Okay, using the five senses. What do you see? What do you hear? Practicing that state of mindfulness, mindful of where you are, mindful of what you have, mindful of who you are. I am strong. I'm power. I'm love. I'm peace. I'm amazing. Okay. We have the ability to change from different timelines with our words, with our thoughts, and especially with our actions. Okay. Remember, once we can go from fear to courage, anything is possible. Okay. Obviously, you're sad. You're sad. You get angry. You decide to do something about it. That can be good or bad. But the important thing to realize is courage is the key to creating. Courage is the key to accepting failure, not as rejection, but as redirection. Everyone is going to fail. I can guarantee you that. If you don't fail, that means you never tried. If you never tried, that means you're in fear. What are you afraid of? What if it works out? We don't know it's going to work out, but we're going to learn something on the way. We're going to learn lessons. Courage opens up so many possibilities in our lives. And courage is diminishing fear in our body because we believe in ourselves. We believe in the universe. We believe that something in us and something outside of us, we're going to achieve that. If we have a goal, all you have to do is believe it and do actions to get closer to that goal. Um, so that's why when we talk about breathing, talk about being present, because remember, we are in control. We can't just always react to things. We're reacting, that kind of puts us in control. We have to live with the surprises. We have to live with the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I knew what happened in the past, and it won't happen again because that's the past. Today is a new day. Today is a new day to love myself. Today is a new day to be grateful, and I can't change what happened. So a lot of times we are so fixated on the past. We're like, man, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. But it's over. We have to accept, forgive, and forget. Anyone can change just like that. If it makes you feel better, people always say give your emotions names. Anger is Tom. Happiness is I don't know. I can't think of any cool names right now, but Derek. Fear is Kelly. So you're talking to Kelly, man, be like, Kelly, relax. Like, there's no need to be afraid right now. Like, we're just watching TV. If you have a stressful day, be like, Kelly, relax. We're here. We're alive. We're going to figure it out. Okay. That's also another thing. Saying we'll figure it out is 10 times better than saying it's okay. It's okay is telling your body that you are chill, you relax in this stress state. But once you say to your mind, we'll figure it out, that puts your mind into, okay, what action are we going to do? What are we going to do to solve this problem? We'll figure it out. Good. We'll figure it out. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. But whatever happens, all we know is that we are going to figure it out. Um, So those are two really big things I think are important. Giving your emotions names. I've tried it. It's awesome. The good thing is there's many ways to get out of survival state. But the important thing to remember is being present and focusing on your emotions and knowing that you can't control the future, you can't control the past, you can only control right now. And so I always just want to give my 2 cents to these type of things. Singing is also good. Humming is also good. Humming puts us in a mind of we're not thinking, we're not receiving other thoughts. Singing is amazing because you're focused on the now. You're not having any thoughts coming to your head. You're just singing a song. So try it out. The survival state, getting out of that survival state is possible. But we have to understand that it takes discipline, it takes action, it takes love, it takes grace, it takes all these positive energy, all these positive emotions, and it takes time. Just like the trauma grew in your body, it has to leave with time also. We have something in our brain called neuroplasticity in our body, excuse me. And this is the practice of rewiring how we think, rewiring how we feel. And this takes time. 2 minutes a day, 30 seconds a day, double it in 1 month, double that in 2 months. It takes time. And as long as you give yourself grace, as long as you know you're doing the best you can at this moment, as long as you say affirmations, show me it gets better and better, as long as you say, show me how good it gets, I'm exactly where I need to be right now, everything is working out for me. Once you say these things and build this belief, it grows. It grows a lot. Remember, millions of cells are in our body, trillions of cells are in our body. And once we understand we are in control of them, the sky is the limit. Courage is going to help us do so many things we never even thought of. We're going to receive so many blessings we didn't even know existed. So I promise you, it's possible. If it's possible for you to be afraid of life, it's possible for you to love life. There's always opposites. So yeah, that's all I have to say right now on this episode. Try breath work. Try talking to your emotions. Try giving them names. Try saying affirmations. Try journaling, getting your thoughts out on paper, looking at it. There are many tips and tricks you can do. Everyone has their own way of looking at life. Everyone has their own way of what feels good to them. But that trauma is stored there. That's not your fault. The trauma that's stored there is because it's always used to reacting and it's comfortable. So until next time on Off the Dome, thank you for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts. Did it make sense? Are you doing it now? Till next time.